Is full of work and stress. Parenting can be a mess. Being a woman is hard enough without adding on that extra stuff. We'll cover topics of every kind. Helpful resources we will find. We'll even drink a bottle of wine. Join us. It will be a real good time.
I don't remember the username, but somebody on YouTube commented about how we need to wear headphones because we were having an echo issue. And I wanted to first say thank you to everyone hanging in with us because we are trying different mics at different times, lapel mics, regular mics, headphones, no headphones. I just ordered these because someone commented you both need to wear headphones when you're separate. And I had never thought about the sound in my computer coming through and echoing into my microphone. My brain never went there. So thank you for saying that, for pointing it out.
We're both
so that my brain could think about it and go, huh, yeah, I probably do need some headphones, and go order some. I hope they're good ones. I hope this is going better than before. But please comment, let us know if it sounds better than previous episodes, if it sounds worse, let us know what's going on for you guys in your experience so that we can be aware and try to work on things if we need to. But here we are. I even found a pink pair, guys. I was proud of myself.
While we're on the subject, if anyone has portable mic recommendations, we are hoping to go on location from places. And if you haven't noticed, when we wore the lapel mics, it did sound a little robotic, a little tinny. I think only one of those are up right now, but the other one should be up. Thank you to Patrick775 for telling Nikki to buy headphones.
Yes.
And
I'm guessing it's Patrick going to be very helpful.
Yeah. So also too, by the time I responded to that comment, almost an entire week had gone by, and it wasn't on purpose. I'm trying to remember that, we have like an email inbox and things like that to check, and I should look at comments now that we're posting videos. It's a learning experience.
We're learning.
So that's right. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Nikki.
And welcome to Working Mom's Whine, where we drink a bottle of wine or other things.
And whine about our stressful working mom lives and try to offer up some resources that might help.
And it has been quite a week. We've had a snow day I had a snow day today. I guess you still had to deal with school. But we both ended up with a free evening, and we thought, why not go ahead and record a podcast? So you're seeing us in the way more past than usual for this one. But I had no wine in the house, but I did have things to make a mule. So I'm going to drink a mule, and Nikki's going to drink the wine.
We've talked about before how we encourage everyone to drink whatever they want, even if it's non-alcoholic. So we're just switching it up a little bit today.
That's right.
I am drinking wine. I'm going to preface this by saying my glass of wine is very, very full. And there is a reason for it. I do not normally fill it up this full when I drink. I promise I'm not an alcoholic. However, it was one of those things where I was at the bottom of the box. And when it's a box, you can't see inside. You just feel the lightness. And you think, oh, I'm at the bottom. Well, I might as well add just that little bit extra, even though it's more than usual. Mm-hmm. And I'm doing this while I'm talking to my daughter. I am not focused. Before I realized it, it was way up here. So it is what it is.
I thought you had just had an extra stressful day or something.
No, I did not intentionally fill it that full, but I guess it really doesn't matter because on a night when I choose to drink wine, on most nights I will have more than one glass. I'll have two. So I guess it's just saving me the trip downstairs for the refill.
That was going to be my next point. For instance, with this, I made a double because it fits in the cup. And that way I don't have to make a second drink later. So really you're just saving yourself a trip by putting 2 glasses of wine into one.
Cheers to that.
So I guess since you're drinking the wine, you can describe what wine you have.
This is one of my go-tos from the grocery store because you can find it almost anywhere. This is Bada Box. I say it's Bada Box. It might be Boda Box. Bought a box makes more sense to me. I don't
I
know.
mean, you did buy a box.
I did, exactly. BOTA is how it's spelled. Bought a box Redvolution. Bought a box Redvolution is a rich and full-bodied red wine with aromas of spice and blackberry jam flavors. This juicy blend shows red black fruit with a finish of nutmeg, cocoa, and sweet cherries. It pairs well with this is funny. Take this versatile wine camping or fishing and pair it with whatever is on the fire or the fresh catch of the day. That was a mouthful.
I don't I don't know why they think that someone who's drinking wine is going to go camping.
I mean, I have taken boxed wine camping. However,
Have you really?
it was not something I wanted to do. I did it to be
Right.
a good partner to my partner who loved camping. And I was
I
not
feel
a
like
big
in general,
beer girly.
yeah, like in general, if you're a camper, you're not going to
Yeah.
be like a bougie wine drinker. I could be wrong. There's probably people who fit both. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think we both have a certain friend from childhood, if you know who I'm talking about, who does, because she's gorgeous and also like a complete tomboy. So I could see her being like, oh, yes, I'm a total debutante, but I love to go camping.
Possibly. And they also
Yeah.
make these wines now in these portable, like cardboardy little small portable things too. So you don't have to
That's
have
true.
like glass
Yeah.
or fanciful things to
Yeah.
drink it. Although sometimes drinking
Probably
wine and
because of
getting
all
really
the.
hot and sweaty isn't great. So
I know. That's the thing. Like, I drink a little bit of everything, so it doesn't bother me as much. But if I
yeah.
am hot and sweaty, that's when you're like, beer is the best. Cold beer. But that's when it really hits the spot for me. But
Yeah.
so we had some weather yesterday. It wasn't anything big, but it was more than I thought it was going to be. There's usually a magical little line where there's a couple cities above us that get really good snow, and then we don't. But we got enough that the school in my area called off, but we're a little bit more north of you. You guys didn't get that lucky. I mean, I did have to put up with my kids all day, but
It would
what
have
I
been
find
nice to
funny
save
is
the trip, but
that's true. That's true. So when my kids, does Ari have like a tablet in her classroom that she gets to use while she's in the classroom?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm assuming that's standard for most schools these days. But in our school district, once you're in, I want to say second grade, it might be third grade, you get to start taking it home. And oh boy.
Yeah, I can hear them.
Anyway, yeah. They're not unsupervised. Their father is home.
They're just children.
But anyway,
get over it.
So Silas is at the point where he does not get to bring his tablet home, but he will use it in class for different activities, or sometimes that will be a reward is the tablet time or whatever. But because we had a snow day and because they were anticipating that that might happen, they sent the tablets home with the kids. And that way, if we do have a snow day and they decide that it's a day where they have to do school from home, he's already got his tablet. With our school district, you usually don't have to do the school from home thing unless we have already used up all of our snow days, and this is the first snow day of the year, so no worries there. I didn't even check to see if he had to do anything today. And I have an email from 30 minutes ago. So for reference, the email did not show up until after 6 o'clock at night. And it says, Snow Day News. And his teacher made this post at 8:40 in the morning. And I'm getting the email about the post at 6:40 at night, almost 12 hours later.
No. No.
It does have good news in it. It just says, Happy Snow Day. We are not having AMI, is what they call the school from home. So the good news is he didn't have any schoolwork to do anyway. But why do they have a system? And I do always get these in the afternoon or the evening, but why is the system like, we're going to put something out there in the morning and you parents are going to get it at night?
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay.
Does the newsletter timestamp in the morning and your email timestamp in the evening? Like, it wasn't an issue, like,
Yes.
with it coming through?
Yes. Like she
Weird.
said her post was at 8:39 in the morning and my email was after 6 at night. There is probably a chance that it is in the app that we have, to be fair. But like the whole idea, yep, it is. But the whole idea is like, I'm not going to go in and check this app. And I don't know if this is the same for your school. And it's gotten better at mine. But in the beginning, we had Canvas, Classroom Dojo, or whatever they call it, Parent Square, Infinite Parent, Campus. I feel like there was another one. And then, of course, you have your school's Facebook page, and they send you emails, and there's emails from the school itself, and there's emails from the community that you're getting because you're enrolled in the school. So there's like a million different things to look at anyway. Yes.
Yeah.
So now we have Parent Square that I only go and look at if like the teacher emails something and she's taken pictures, because, and this is good, if you go into the email and try to look at all the pictures, it will say, hey, you have to log into the app, prove that you're a parent in order to see these pictures, basically.
Okay.
So I have the app for that. And then the other app, the only purpose of it literally is for me to, I mean, it has other things in there, but the only thing I need it for is if I need to see a schedule or if I have to add to the cafeteria funds. And then I think that's the only two apps we really use. And then, of course, I get my evening emails. So sure, I could have gone in there and checked things, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Email me in the morning.
Yes. We have a very similar setup where there's just like a ton of apps. There's a Seesaw app where they can upload, the teacher can put messages.
Seesaw.
Yeah,
Yes.
and pictures, and the kids, sometimes when they draw on their tablet, the picture shows up in their journal there. And then there's the Tyler Sis K-12, I think it's called, or something.
Yes.
But that's where I add money to her lunch. And I think you can see attendance and homework in there, but we haven't really gotten to a stage where that matters yet or is used.
We were using that before the Infinite Parent Campus. They used Tyler, and then this year they switched over.
I just got an email that we're switching to a new one next year, but I can't remember what it's called. It doesn't matter yet for my brain,
right? I don't have to worry about it at this point.
Right. And then there's an app from the school district. And then a lot of this part weirded me out. A lot of the teachers and classrooms and stuff have Twitter accounts, and they will post pictures sometimes. And I think to myself, like, why is anyone posting pictures of children to Twitter without, I mean, I'm sure we probably signed something in the sign up process that says it's okay, but I didn't realize it. There's been a few pictures of like a class or something, or a team that won some sport thing in high school or whatever. Like the whole district uses it. I haven't seen anything too crazy on there, and not much of the smaller children. So maybe that's a thing, but I don't know. Our teacher doesn't, I haven't seen her post anything on Twitter, like pictures. They all go on to Seesaw. So, and then if I take a screenshot, I like put little stickers on the other kids' faces if I decide I want to like save it or post it or something,
Yeah. I'm looking it up. We do have a school account, but it's all like, no, there's some kid pictures.
Yeah.
Interesting. I did not know.
That's interesting, knowing what you hear about how pedophiles will go on and just find random pictures of children, and sometimes even like just take their faces and put it on the body of a naked child and like sell it online, things like that. That exists out in the world. And so there are parents I know in these groups that I'm in on Facebook that refuse to let any pictures of their children be posted online at all. They're very strict about it with themselves, with family, and to think that that could happen like randomly, accidentally by somebody else, and you have no control over it. It's just weird.
I will say, as I'm looking here, a lot of the pictures
control everybody's
are
phone,
like I know. And that's like I mentioned earlier, like the school does have a Facebook page, so I suppose it's out there anyway. But at least as far as what they're posting on Twitter in my school, it's very rare that you're seeing elementary level pictures. And if you are, it's the backs of the kids while they're taking a picture of what the kids are observing. Everything else seems to be teacher related, pictures of items for like an event, things like that. So
Yeah, I'll admit I don't look at ours much. I put the app on my phone. I hate
yeah,
Twitter. I don't like it.
I do
It has
too.
never been an app I've ever enjoyed, and I have
No,
deleted
like
it many
even like back when
times.
it first started.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've deleted it many
It
times,
was
but when
like
I logged into, signed up for school stuff and they said, these are the Twitter accounts to follow, and I'm like, I guess I need to put it on my phone just so I can at least see what's being posted. And you're reading all these parent groups about
mm-hmm.
how frustrating it is when they try to keep their kids off social media, but then the teachers or the sporting groups or whatever only communicate on Snapchat or Instagram. And it's like, my
That's
kid's
a little
missing out
weird.
on this whole connection.
Yeah.
There's a lot of it in this
I
group. And I'm like, seriously? Like, why do we have all these apps for the school if they're, well, maybe they don't have them at every school. I don't know. Maybe that's a Missouri thing, but it's
but
interesting to
even
think
if
about.
you yeah, and even if you're going to communicate on social media, there's a difference between we're going to make a Facebook page and I'm only going to communicate on Snapchat and Instagram.
Yeah, like there's this one woman who was really mad because her kids' track team only communicated about practices on Instagram. And she's like, I don't allow my kid to have that. I don't even have it myself. I
Well,
don't
and
like it.
that's a weird place for that. Instagram is like pictures and reels, not text communication.
Yeah, well, there is a messenger in there, but it's
Oh,
it's
okay.
now
I
the
didn't know
same
that
as Facebook
actually.
Messenger. They like it's shared now because it's
Mm,
both owned by Meta or
because of
whatever.
Meta.
But it's always, changing and stuff. And most of the parents' advice is,
Yeah.
if you want to keep your kid off social media, but you want to have the info, put it on your own phone. You sign up and you get the alerts and you pass on what you need
Yeah.
to your kid and keep them safe from whatever else. But these days,
Yeah.
kids are buying each other burner phones and creating accounts you don't know about and doing all this shady stuff that I read about in these parent groups. And I'm like, you know, the the old school parent in me wants to keep her away from all of it and say, this isn't allowed. That's not allowed. You
Yep.
can't be on here. You can't watch this. You can't do that. The other side
Yeah.
of me knows that that's not going to work, that you have to
Yeah.
let them explore things while teaching them how to do it safely and
Yeah.
trying to connect their brains to what the consequences are when they don't do it safely, which is really
Yeah.
hard because some of these consequences are so insanely serious so quickly and they don't
Yeah.
get it. Their brain development is not there yet. And it's hard. It's really hard balance. So I try to keep it age appropriate, but allow access to things that my gut tells me shut that off. Don't let her watch that video. Don't let her hear about that thing. Because I can't shelter her from everything. And we grew up with a group of
Yeah.
people who tried to shelter their children from everything, and it backfired
Mm-hmm.
horrifically in college. So
Right.
just don't do it, guys. Open the door of communication,
Yeah.
keep it open, use it as a teaching experience, explain why they shouldn't want to
Yeah.
watch those things or, involve themselves in those things and all the reasons
Right.
why. But you can't just cut them off totally because they are going to go to school and use someone else's phone and log into their account and do it and
Yeah.
immediately find you
I've
and block you so that you won't see it. Like it just it's natural. It's natural.
mm-hmm. I've already started kind of having some of those conversations and Brandon too with the kids, like with Lucas
Mm-hmm.
and Ellie at least. We'll talk about, our adult drinks and
Mm-hmm.
why you have to wait to a certain age and like I don't remember how it came up, but we were talking to Lucas about more than that the other day. I don't it might have been, like the potential that like friends were going to ask him to potentially try drugs or whatever. Like we live in an area especially where that can end up being a little prevalent. And Lucas is like the farthest removed from anyone who I will ever think will try anything. Like he's the kid who's just like, give me a video game and I'm good. But I just felt like, we need to at least throw that out there. Like if you ever hear about your friends doing something or asking you to do something, like I'd rather you come to us first, ask us about it. We're experienced, we've got that knowledge. And if it is something where we feel like you can try it, we want you to try it here with parents around where you're going to be in a safe environment, kind of a deal. But I think that may come with later children more than it will with him, but we'll see.
That's a
And
tough
then, of
one.
course, it
The
is.
arg the argument on, do you hard, walk the hard line of just no, you can't, versus try it here
Mm-hmm.
where I can monitor you. A lot of people get mad at those parents because they're like, you're not your parent, you're not your kid's friend, you're their parent. And it's like, well,
Right.
yeah, but
And
also if you cut them off and they're going to, there's an argument both ways
yeah.
for
And to
safety
clarify on
versus
our end,
hiding.
I don't plan on letting him try anything before he's 18 or 21, respectively. But at least if it even comes up in his friend group, I want him to be comfortable enough to come to us, talk to us
Mm-hmm.
about it. And then, like, we've had the Enneagram episode, which is uploaded before this one, but like, one of my things is I'm a researcher. I'm going to come
Yeah.
at him with, like, here's all the information on, in my opinion, why you should not. And I am going to let you know that until a certain age, this and that is illegal, and some other things are always going to be illegal. And
Yes.
when I got to college, I did try some things, and I will be able to tell him from experience, like, this is why I don't think this or that is a good idea. So, they're
Yeah.
still going to live their life and learn their lessons. And no matter how you try to approach it, there are some things they're just going to find out themselves. But hopefully that perspective will at least help. And knowing,
Mm-hmm.
like, the why behind certain things will help
Yeah.
versus, well, we're just going to tell you that you can't.
Yes. Yeah. I've always imagined myself when she gets to that age, like pulling together the latest research and like even making like some kind of PowerPointy type thing and being like, okay, so this is what it is. This is what it does. This is how it affects your body. This is why it affects your brain
Yes.
development poorly at this specific age. Because there's even things like marijuana, for example. If you use it too young,
Mm-hmm.
it does hamper brain development, but
Yeah.
that doesn't
Yeah. It
happen when you're
absolutely does.
older. So,
Right.
sometimes it's about waiting to try something until it's
Yes.
not going to have the negative consequences or the legal
Exactly.
consequences or whatever,
Yeah.
But having a way to explain that to them and give them a real
Mm-hmm.
reason other than just like, no, it's bad. Like, it's
Like,
going to scramble your
get
brain.
through college. Yeah. Get through college or your trade school or whatever route you're going, and then fine.
Right.
And
Then lose your
I think it's
synapses.
funny.
It's okay.
I think it's funny that you brought up the PowerPoint thing, because there's
Yeah.
and we didn't do this growing up, so I find this hilarious, but there's all these things about, like, kids that will make, judge my nails because I haven't redone them since the Christmas party a month ago. But
That's what we were
we'll
going
get
to
to
talk
that.
about.
That's our topic tonight. I know.
We've gone on a trail.
I know. I was gonna say that too. Like, this isn't even the topic for tonight, but it's it's good. It's fun.
We
We're
do what we
rambling
want.
because we can. We do what we want. Eric Cartman, 2024. So there's like this whole big meme out there about, like, kids that will make PowerPoint presentations. And it's like an older thing. Like, when I was growing up and I wanted a dog, I would make my parents a PowerPoint on why we should
Yeah.
have a dog. And I'm like, I don't know why that thought never occurred to me, but that's great. So just to think about, like, us as parents making the PowerPoint for our children now is even better.
It's because I'm a millennial. I want to do that, huh? Is that what it
Right. Just throw, like, your scholarly article links in there. According
Yes.
to Getz and Mers 2022.
Yes. Exactly. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm literally going to do that. Because I want my daughter to know that you don't just take the word of whoever says whatever. There needs to be proof. And that's something I think too many people in our parents' generation did not learn. Because back as they were growing up in school, you could trust the information that was being given to you, or you thought you could. And it was all in an encyclopedia. There wasn't this wide internet full of misinformation. There wasn't people making fake videos with AI. And there wasn't people just saying things that they literally can't back up. So it's, they need to learn how to figure that stuff out. What is a scholarly journal? How do I find it? How do I read what's in it? How do all those things.
And, like,
and it's so sad. Like, I didn't have to learn that stuff till college, but
right.
now I'm
And
going
even
to
with
teach my
those, you have to
10-year-old.
know. I can't just take the first scholarly article I find at face value. Did
Mm-hmm.
someone else replicate these? Like, that's
Who
how the
funded it?
whole we're going to whine about societal norms, societal pressure, and what spawned this idea was actually my handsome, intelligent husband. So I was asking him, I was like, I know it's last minute, you just got home from work. Nikki brought up that we both have a free night tonight. Would you mind watching the kids for an hour and a half? At this point, it's probably going to be longer while we do a podcast. And, you know, he did his whole shtick of like, I can't believe you're asking me to do this, whatever. And of course, he agreed to it. But I was talking to him,
Is it a
and
sarcastic
like,
shtick?
it is, it is.
I
But
feel like knowing him
also,
it
I,
is, but I don't know that other people would know
right,
that. So
very sarcastic, but also at the same time, I think he just wanted me to own the fact that, yes, I enjoy doing this, and yes, I wanted to record it. But I did come at him with, like, I don't know. I don't even have wine in the house. And because of the kids' snow day, I worked from home, so I didn't put makeup on. Like, I didn't do makeup. I didn't do my hair. I feel like I have to do all of those things if we're going to do a podcast. And Nikki and I had already decided to talk about a different topic. Like, you know, we've got some topics saved up that we want to eventually address. And we had decided on a different one. And he said, why not make that the topic of your podcast? And I'm like, how are you such a genius with like women topics? Like, what's going on here? But so it was his idea basically of like, just get on there without any makeup on and be like, why do we feel like we have to do that in general?
mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's kind of
Mm-hmm.
brilliant. And I texted Nikki and I was like, I know we decided on one thing already, but why don't we pivot to this? And she
We're
was all
gonna
about it
switch
because
it
neither of us have
up.
to do it. Mm-hmm. But it is like, I can even tell, and it probably won't translate as much as I think it will when I'm uploading things because we don't have fancy cameras yet. Um, but I can look at myself in the thing that we're recording and I can see some major differences between what I look like right now and what I look like if I've taken the time to put on makeup. And it's stuff that like you might not even notice on the audience end. You might just think that like it's just a normal face, but I've put a lot of makeup on in order to look like I'm normal. That's a lot with me, no. And it's just one of those things where it's like there's nothing wrong with makeup inherently. I have a good time doing eyeshadow, putting on fun colors of eyeliner, doing the makeup when I want to do the makeup. But we do feel like we have to wear it. Or like if I go into work with my headband on like this and my hair back, I feel a lot more unprofessional and frumpy than I do if I've taken the time to like put in pomade and hairspray and whatever. And I should be allowed to
Yeah.
come in one day where I'm only working like 3 or 4 hours and not feel like I have to do myself up for that.
And I think we're also in an interesting position, our generation, an in between position. Because there are a lot of people from
Mm-hmm.
the younger generation that are in their careers now that do not give two F's about how they look at work. And there are people
Oh,
above
no, they don't.
us who are like, if you go into the gas station without your makeup on, that's
Yep.
horrific. Like, there are
Yeah.
two polar extremes happening in our society right now. And our generation is
Yes.
kind of in the middle. And it's like, we were brought up that you need to be a professional, and professional means wearing fancy suits and skirts and dresses and doing your hair and your makeup and looking like you could give a TED talk at any moment versus wearing your hoodie and your yoga pants, you know? Like there's a
Yeah.
big difference, and we were kind of in that transitional generation where we when we started work, we had to be this way, that you couldn't even have hair dye. Like
Yeah.
my first job, there were
Yeah.
rules about the color of hair dye you could have, and you had to cover up
Yep.
all tattoos, and
Yep.
couldn't wear your facial piercings and things like that. And now, I work at home and I'm in my PJs most of the time. Like it's a pretty
There
polar
are,
extremes.
yeah, there are employee manuals that do even reference having to put makeup on as a lady. I don't
Mm,
know if they still do that, but like when I first entered the
I
workforce, they would
would.
be like, You can't have hair dye. Tattoos can't be visible. You have to be wearing makeup, basically.
I was never told to wear
And where
makeup, but I was
yeah.
told about all the other things.
And where I work now, like lots of people younger than me will come in. And to be fair, some that are my age or older because they've gotten comfortable with it, but they will come in without their makeup on. And I'm just like, I could never. And I do have the extra self consciousness of I had some really bad acne around college, cystic acne, if any of you have ever had to deal with that. And because of that, even though I was taking good care of myself and washing my face, sometimes too much, really.
And on medication
And
and
I did
everything.
not
Yeah.
wear, yeah, I was on medication. I didn't wear a lot of makeup. Like, I wore it when I had to, but obviously it would irritate things. And so I would try not to wear it when I didn't have to. But my chin has scarring from that. The rest of my face pretty much escaped unscathed, thank goodness. But because of the chin scarring, I feel like I do have to wear makeup all the time. And even when I do wear the makeup, you can still see it, but I just feel like it's not as noticeable.
Sorry about my dog there.
I
I
know.
have a senior
I've been
dog. He has a collapsed trachea, so it's not preventable. It is what it
I've
is.
been semi successful in editing some of that stuff out in the past ones, but that one might have to stay in.
Yeah, that's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
He's he's
But
nearing his golden or whatever it is, silver years, gold, whatever it is. He's old.
yeah.
He gets to cough whenever
But
he wants. So
that's right. He gets to make whatever. Oliver was making weird noises earlier tonight too. Like he did the puppy zoomies and he was like dying inside. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, man. You made that decision.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what's really
Anyway.
funny is I went to work one night and like, occasionally we do late shifts, just the nature of the position that I'm in. And we were talking about stuff like that. And there was a guy at work, and he is like typical, like super tall, like probably above 6 feet. I'm short enough that everyone looks tall to me, but he's like super tall guy. He's always wearing flannel, so I always like joked with him about being a lumberjack anyway. But between the way he styled his hair and the beard that he had, I was like, yeah, you're full on lumberjack. Like, what is this? So he he mentioned that that's one of the reasons he always has a beard. He had the same issue. His chin has the same scarring, but since he can grow a beard, he can just hide it. And I'm like, that's not fair.
That's not fair. Oh, the whole makeup thing is a real journey, I think, probably for every woman and some
Mm-hmm.
boys who want to wear makeup and use makeup.
Hey,
which is
and
becoming
everyone
more
gets
prevalent,
bags, and
so
you want to
I'm
cover them
down for it.
occasionally.
Everyone has pimples and scars and things, but also a lot of men are very creative and artistic and want to express themselves way
Yeah.
better with that stuff than I ever could. So go for it.
Oh, I
I love
know.
it. I'm for it. But
Except for the
I would
gel.
say I would say that probably in high school I became interested in makeup for social reasons, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't go to high school and have all the same pressures. I was homeschooled,
Mm-hmm.
and homeschooled in a group. So when you're homeschooled, of course, you're at home all the time. But we were part of a county group of homeschoolers. So all the people in our county that
Yeah.
homeschooled, or a lot of them, joined this group, and we would have meetings, and we had a choir and a band, and they even at one point had kind of like a, it's not a school, but a place where you could sign up to take courses like French and math and stuff that maybe your parents couldn't teach you as easily, that kind of stuff. And you got to
And we
kind of
went
have a
roller
classroom
skating.
experience. Yes, we had Friday night homeschool
That was
skate,
so
or
fun.
Friday afternoon homeschool skate,
Mm-hmm.
because we could do it in the middle of the day when nobody was, well, everyone was also in school. I became interested in makeup in high school and started wearing it, even though I didn't need it for cover up purposes. I was still doing the full shebang:
Right.
concealer, foundation, all that stuff. And I feel like I was pretty good at it. And then I got to
Yeah, you were
college
pretty good at it.
and I met my um, future husband, and he did not like girls that wore a lot of makeup. At least that's what he claimed to me. And he would tell me all the time, like, you don't need it. Why bother? You don't need to put all that stuff on your face. You look fine without it. And at first, that was very freeing for me to not feel the pressure to put on the makeup every day, because it does take a lot of time
Yeah.
and effort and money.
Yeah.
But I feel like also, instead of then caving to societal pressure, I was caving to what I thought he wanted, which is something I do in all of my relationships. I'm learning on my healing journey, and every single one I have done it in
Right.
one form or another, even my ones post marriage or post divorce. So
Yeah.
I kind of lost that part of myself. I quit using it, I quit putting it on, and then years later, I'm realizing that, like, oh, I want to put it on for a special occasion, or now I'm getting older and I do have things I want to cover up, and I don't know how to do
Yeah.
it anymore. Like, I have no clue. And then one day I went to put on makeup and realized I didn't have any foundation. My foundation was like 4 years old and disgusting. And I'm like, I don't even own it. So then I went on some like TikTok dive on, foundation and wound up being uh,
Yeah.
influenced into that ill maquillage or whatever stuff that's super expensive and really did not
Darn
do what all the
influencers.
commercials show it does. Like, you watch them put it on and you watch it cover everything, and I do that and it does not do the same thing. So I don't know. Maybe they use some magical primer I'm unaware of or something, but
Or Photoshop.
right. So in the last several years, it really hasn't mattered because I've been work at home for the last 8 years of my career. So I don't get up and get ready and go into an office. I roll out of bed and log into my computer. And
Yeah.
sometimes I find a break during the day to shower, and sometimes I don't. And
Yeah.
it's funny, when we were talking about recording this, I was like, I might show up with wet hair, and just because I'm just now taking my shower from the last 2 days. Like, and it was after dinner time and all of that. But it really just has become
Right.
a much more relaxed thing for me, and something I don't really feel the pressure of anymore, because I'm not in
Yeah.
that office setting, and I don't have any big social things I do either. Like, I'm not part of any clubs or in-person meetup kind of
Yeah.
things. So it's like, the few times I decide I want to look nice, like when my daughter had a dance recital, or we got together for some holiday event and I knew we'd take a lot of pictures of each other, it was like, wow,
Yes.
I'm doing this now. I'm putting it on, but it doesn't look great. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. And I don't like the way it feels on my face.
Yeah. It starts to feel
And so here
greasy
we
after a
are.
while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still pretty fortunate.
I
I never went through the acne scarring thing, but I have a few like age spots. You probably can't tell from these cameras, but and definitely I think you can see like all of the like little scarring I have up here and stuff like that from time to time.
Yeah.
But it's like,
And I mean, that should be allowed, like you have like your time where you're like young and fresh and you just naturally look fine. And then there's that time where you're like old enough that people are like, well, they're old and that's just part of aging and it's fine. And then there's like this middle part, your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, maybe even your 60s, where like they expect that like you can't have that transition between one and the other. You just have to like always look
it's like you have
great.
to stay young and beautiful until like suddenly you hit this
Boom.
unmentionable mark where you're allowed to look old. And I think we're getting better about that. We're becoming more accepting.
Yeah.
Like, gray hair is a thing now, and people do it beautifully and
Yeah.
even dye their hair that way on
Yeah.
purpose, and
Yes.
yeah, that's a big thing from I
The
think,
first
for our
time I
generation to
saw,
witness.
yeah, the first time I saw people dyeing gray on purpose, I was like, what? What is this?
What? I was so happy when I saw it,
Yeah.
because I don't want to have to. I'm not good at keeping up with hairstyles and hair color. When I pick
Mhm.
something to do with my hair, it's something that has to be able to go for several months without a touch up and not look horrible. So I can't get like regular
Yeah.
highlights that start up at your part, because I will let them grow out like clear down to here before I do anything about it. I don't have time. I don't make the time, and I don't want to spend the money that often, and my hair
Yeah.
grows fast. So, Thank God, and blessings to the beautiful hairdresser who told me to do things like balayage and whatever, so it like looks natural as it grows out and looks like it's streaks I put in
Mhm.
that are lower on purpose, when I do the funny colors and stuff. Because
Yeah.
literally,
Yeah.
I haven't gotten my hair done in over a year, and like it's down to here now where the color starts, and it started out up here. So it's I just don't. And
That's
you know,
so funny.
it's yeah, it's freeing and it's great and it's wonderful to finally be part of a society where there are people who accept that and don't care and are like, that's great, good for you, cool, do what you want, do what makes you feel good about yourself and comfortable with yourself. Um,
Yeah.
but even though that is like the mantra these days, you still feel that pressure sometimes to like when you're going on camera to look your
Yeah.
best.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
There are
crazy how that works.
there are nights where I take Eliana to her dance class and it's on the day that I don't go into the office and so I haven't done my hair or put my makeup on and I'm like I feel like I have to put my makeup on to go for this 45-minute dance class. I'm like, "No, that's stupid. Like just be comfortable with who you are." And also,
Mm-hmm.
like you're old and married, so who cares? But
That's another thing. That weird gap where they expect you to like still look really good and then until you're finally allowed to look old. I can't wait for
right.
that time to hit for me in the dating apps because it's like you want to put your best foot forward and put all these pictures out. And so I pick all these pictures where I'm looking my best. I have makeup on, I'm dressed nice.
Yeah.
And then I think to myself, that's false advertising. 99.9% of the time, this is what you're getting. And maybe, like, not even this, my hair's in a ponytail because it hasn't been washed in a couple days. Like, this is fresh out of the shower. So you're getting the best of Nikki right now. And I
Yeah.
think I want someone who's okay with that and not annoyed by that or bothered by that or just not into that, not attracted to that. But there's like huge hesitation in putting those pictures on the internet.
Right.
Like
Right.
pictures of me in my hoodie and my sweatpants with no makeup and my hair in a messy bun and like just looking like a
Yeah.
mom?
You should feel
And
free
then
to
I
be
get
able to do that,
mad.
but at the same time you feel like you
Yes.
can't.
And then I get mad because I feel like I met my ex husband when I was very young. And there are times
Mhm.
over and over, and most of the time I know this is silliness, but a lot of the times I think I wasted all of my good years on him, on this person who left me anyway. All of my years where I was young and thin and fit and looked great
Right.
without makeup, but also knew how to put it on when I wanted to. And I dressed stylish and I went out and did things because I had the energy to do that. And now I'm supposed to meet somebody and I don't even want to ever leave my house. I don't have the energy to anymore. I'm exhausted all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm really in my career right now. So, like, he took all of my good dating years and wasted them and then ditched me. Like, that's sometimes how I think
Yeah.
about it. And it's a legit thought and feeling. Um, but also silliness because when you're looking for a life partner, you don't want someone who's all caught up in how you look. Like, because that
Yeah.
obviously, as we're talking about, that changes drastically over time. As you age, your cartilage continues to grow, so your ears
Mhm.
and your nose get bigger and the rest of your face doesn't. Like everything
Yeah.
changes. And the reason I'm bigger now isn't because I work out less. I definitely still work out and I eat healthy and I do all those things I used to do. But my
Yeah.
joints are worse, my arthritis is coming in, things like that. And my body is in the stage of life where it expects to at any time be pregnant. And so it holds on to body
Yep.
fat for survival.
Yep.
Like genetically, that's what we were built to do. And so,
Yeah.
you know, it just does. And that's just my DNA and my body type. And yes, there are women my age that are super thin naturally, genetically. Everybody's different. It depends on your
We're
cultural
not going to talk
background
about
too.
them.
But but that doesn't mean that my body isn't naturally doing what it's meant to do either. So,
Yeah.
I triggered that when I had a kid and started that whole
Yeah.
process. And then he waited till she was a
Yeah.
year and a half and he ditched me and wasted all my good years. If you ever hear this,
That
Dan, I'm
is
sorry. I'm not meaning to poo all over you. But it is part of my experience,
listen,
so deal. Okay, deal. I'm allowed to feel how
and
I
it
feel.
makes for really good comedic material. So that is one
You
of
know,
my favorite things about my relationship with Brandon is like he'll constantly just like be complimenting me and I'm like, yeah, but this is like 4 children later and you've seen me not only without my makeup on, but like, naked and like I don't look like I used to. I know that.
the long pause and the little scowl before you said naked.
I know. Nah.
For
Like
anyone who's not
we
watching
keep
this and
the
just listening to it, you're missing out. We
I
have
know.
great
We
facial
keep the
expressions. You're missing out.
we keep the lights off in this house. No. But like
Oh.
it's just one of those things where there are parts of that I enjoy. There are outfits I like putting on. There are times where I want to do some of my makeup. I love doing crazy things with my hair. I tried a new hairdresser recently and I told him, I said, first off, my first question to any hairdresser is, are you familiar with like scene/emo? Like I am it's not just a phase, that's my life. So I said I'm going to be 80 and I'm still going to be doing like these choppy colorful hairstyles and when I'm 80 it will be fun because everybody will be like, "Oh, look at that fun grandma." But right now it's probably just like, "Oh, look at that lady who can't let go of being a college kid or whatever." But it's like that's you all have your forms of self-expression and we should be free to do them when we want to do them and also to decide that we're going to wear like appropriate pajama pants to work one day or a hoodie and a messy mom bun, like whatever. It shouldn't matter if you're able to show up and do the job you're going to do. It shouldn't matter if you're
Yeah.
in an important meeting and it's your first impression. Yes, dress up, make a good impression, fine. But if you're showing up to like your day-to-day job or you're not at work even and you're running the kids to something, like our one friend said, she showed up for like parent drop off and there was like this really like nice looking mom and she's like, I feel like I should have dressed up for parent drop off. And you shouldn't have to feel that way. You should just be like, yeah, I haven't showered yet for the day, but here I am rolling up and throwing my kid out the door and later I'll look presentable, but you don't need to know that kind of thing. But
Yeah, if
just
they
the
want
fact
you
that
to look
like it's
presentable at that, they should
so
make it later in the day because.
right. And even beyond this, and this could even be its own topic, you have the celebrities, the models, the public figures that we look to. They are being made up to a certain way. And even beyond that, before they get to whatever publication or like even if it's going to be like on TV or whatever, there are other editing things that are done to that in
Mm-hmm.
between there that make
Yeah.
it completely unrealistic. And now we have all these, little girls and things like we both have looking at those pictures like that is what I have to look like.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Yep.
shouldn't be that way.
I tell Ari all the time when we're watching shows, any show where there's supposed to be kids in high school, like we all know now, they're played by actors that are in college, that are
Yeah,
full
or
bodied in ways
more.
that high school girls are not, that have cleared
Yeah.
some acne issues that some high school girls have not, that aren't wearing braces, things like that. And I'll point it
Yeah.
out every time. So, these girls are supposed to be 16, they're actually like 26. Just so you know. Like, that's
And
not what
even
you're going to
then,
look
they'll
like when
run
you're
it
in high
through,
school. Like,
right. And they'll run it through a bunch of filters after that, too.
mm-hmm.
And they've picked out, like, here's like a handful of kids that look societally, standardly better than your average kid. So let's pick
Mm-hmm.
this handful of, like, kids that have weird beauty standards, and then let's also run them through these filters, and then there you go.
Right. It's crazy. That's crazy.
Now you have to spend a bunch of money to look like that, and you still won't.
Right. Trap, trap. It's trap. But there are also people who really love getting dressed up and doing the full makeup and doing all that stuff,
Yeah,
and it makes them feel good about themselves, and that's great. If that's you,
yeah.
you do you, boo. You keep going.
And there are days
Um,
where I love that, to be honest.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Let me see if I still have the picture from our
It's been a long
company
time since I
Christmas
really
party.
enjoyed doing that, but I think it's just because I still haven't gotten comfortable with my post-child body. I have a lot of hang-ups about that. Uh,
Yeah, there is a lot I don't like about that, especially when it comes to trying to wear things that I like. Obviously, there are things that I
yeah.
wore when I was younger that I cannot wear ever again.
Yeah, different
But,
styles of clothes you'd like to wear, and you put it on, and you're like, man, this does
right,
not fit my potato body. Like,
right.
and then you wear something that like doesn't cling to every roll, and you're like, now I look like a sack. I could be a potato or a potato sack, but I
Yep,
can't be a
exactly.
human.
Those
And it's really
those are
frustrating.
your options.
But I've been
I
through
don't
a couple
know.
extremes. I've done right after I gave birth, I went through the full like P90X, extreme working out supplements, protein shakes,
Mm,
all of the things, and
yeah.
lost the weight and got back to a regular ish looking body. I'm feeling good about that. And then went through separation and divorce and started dating again. And I got comfortable in another relationship and I kind of quit doing all of that and started gaining weight back and then decided no, I'm not going to do that, and I went extreme again. I went to like keto and running and
Mm,
did okay with that, but it's like the second you go off any of those things, any of those plans, you gain it back plus some. And so
yeah.
the last few years I have been working really hard to make healthy habits that are not about losing weight, even though I feel like I
Yeah.
need to. And I look at my body and I think that's not the shape it's supposed to be. That's not real. That's not realistic. And it's really hard, even as a therapist, it's really hard to correct my thinking in that and to not jump
Yeah.
back onto some diet culture train where I'm doing some extreme
Right.
thing that works at first, but it's not maintainable, it's not enjoyable,
Right.
and it backfires in the end when you can't keep it up. So
Yeah.
it's difficult, you know.
I
I
was
battle this thing where like back before I had children, somebody told me that maybe I wouldn't want to have children because they didn't think I had what it takes, had the determination and the grit to get my body back after having a baby. And
oh
that
my god.
stuck with me forever. As much as I
Wow.
immediately knew that that was a huge, horrible thing to say, and I immediately complained to all of my friends and family members that that had been said to me, and as much as I have mentioned it in therapy, it haunts me to this day. So
Yeah.
sorry, I'm a little emotional about it still. It's ridiculous. I mean, this
You
was like
should be.
years before I had a child, and probably why I didn't
Yeah.
push for having a child for a long time. I mean, I never did.
Yeah.
She was an accident when we had her, but thank God because
That's
I was meant
true.
to be a mother. I don't know what I'd do
Yeah.
without being a mom. It's my favorite thing on the planet. And I can't believe I let someone almost stop that for me. Um,
Yeah. By just making an idiotic
but all
comment.
it takes, yeah, all it takes is one stupid little sentence to really change your world for a long time. And as much as I
Mm-hmm.
know that that's not true and that's not real and that's stupid, I mean, it's straight up stupid. I don't use that word much, and it's stupid.
Yeah.
It still plays in the back of my head to this day. And it was said to me by someone that I do not care for the opinions of anymore. I do not give weight to what they say because I've known from experience that they're full of crap and they don't follow through with any of their own ideas or feelings or opinions ever. I'm like past the 6 month time mark, quite literally. So it's every 6 months, it seems. But anyway, I
Oh
digress.
my gosh.
I just, it killed me for a while, and
Yeah.
it's still something I fight to
You
this
gotta
day when I look in the mirror and I'm like, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's not what's important in life.
yeah.
And
You gotta watch what you say to people, and you gotta watch what you let influence you. And that's like the big thing.
yeah.
Like, we can preach body positivity all we want, but it just takes the right person saying one comment and it's gonna haunt you forever.
Hmm. Yeah. You gotta learn that inner self-love and self-confidence.
Mm-hmm.
um but even then, when you know those comments are BS, it's still hard to fight it in your brain.
Well, my long-suffering husband has asked me if we are done yet. So maybe we should wrap it up.
Okay.
If you want to wear makeup and dress up nice every day, do it. If
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a day or two where you don't. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to look every day like you rolled out of bed, do it.
Do it. If you don't want to shave, do it. You don't want to wax your
That's
eyebrows?
right.
Don't. If you
That's right.
do what
If
makes you feel good about yourself. Do what helps you
exactly.
have confidence, and teach your
Yep.
daughters the same. It
Yep.
doesn't matter what
And
other
we
people
just got
think
on
or
the
say or want.
yeah.
You do you, boo.
And we just got on the internet for an hour or maybe a little less by the time I've edited this with no makeup on. So it is possible. We're both going to go on and live our lives after this. It can be done.
Can be done.
As always, make sure that you check out our website, workingmomswine.com, subscribe to our TikTok, Working Moms Wine, Instagram, Working Moms Wine, everything Working Moms Wine except for Twitter,
If
X,
you'd like
whatever.
the direct links to all those things, you just go to our website,
Mm-hmm.
workingmomswine.com. There are links to everything. But the best way to help
Yep.
and support us, if you don't want to like subscribe and pay money for subscriptions and things like that, the best way to support is just to like, subscribe, and share it to your friends. Comment on our
Yes.
videos and our posts. Help
Yes.
us get out there so that we can grow and buy better cameras and do all that kind of stuff.
Right? And if you
Support our
do
wine
like
habit.
spending money, I know. If you do like spending money, you can suggest future wines for us. You can join our book club that we're getting off the ground. You can, there was another really good one I came up with recently. Oh, suggest a topic for us to talk about. There are
Mm-hmm.
other options on the Patreon. Those are on the Patreon, which you can link to from the website or just go to patreon.com/workingmomswine. So feel free to check those out. But yes, liking, subscribing, and sharing is our bread and butter right now. We would love to just get ourselves in front of as many people as possible. And we will see you
Yeah.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.